Welcome back to the studio. Today we are going to do a final review of the Meeden art supplies that I've been using this month. So if you've been following the channel, you know that this month I introduced my curated collection. And curated collections are something that I haven't decided yet if they're going to be monthly, bi-monthly. I'm not sure how often they will be, but I will be releasing a curated collection. You'll see a video. It'll be an unboxing, kind of like an art subscription box. Only you don't have to subscribe. And you always see what you're getting before you order. And you never have to order things that you already have. So it's better than an art subscription box. This month we did supplies from Meeden. And full disclosure, I've shared this already. Meeden sent me some of these supplies, but these were things that I was already planning to share with you and had chosen long before Meeden had sent them or even reached out to me to send them. So today, not only are we going to have my final thoughts and the overall review after using these supplies for a month. I've been painting with these almost every day for the month of February. And but we're gonna take on, I think, what is probably the most crazy decision I've ever made in a live stream. And I'm like staring at my reference photo that's like so daunting, and you will find out soon, because it is probably the biggest challenge that I have chosen for myself for about a 2 hour ish long live stream. Will I be able to pull this one off? I have no idea. We're gonna find out. So we're gonna dive right in. W.A. Castle says, looking forward to this video. I'm so glad that you're here. And hello to Rob, who says he's actually traveling home and will be with us soon. Tara's here. Joseph is here. So hello to everyone. Anybody else that's here, pop in and say hello in the chat. All right, we're gonna go. Oh, let me just share with you. There's my reference photo. I don't know if I can do that in 2 hours. And let me just say that this reference, I think, would lend itself beautifully to like a gouache painting. And excuse me, I would, after using these supplies this month, I would love to try the Meeden gouache set. I'd be really curious to give that one a go. But I think that this painting, and you can get this reference, I've linked it in the description below. This is edited. There's actually more to this photo than what you see here in the original. This was from, I think it was Pixabay, I believe. But it is linked in the description. I did drop it in the live chat earlier when I was hanging out before the stream started. So yeah, over on my Patreon, you can get that, which is, let's see, ready? Right there. There's my Patreon address. You can get it over there. You don't have to be a patron to get that. So you just go on over there and you can get it. Download it. All right, let's go to the desk so we can talk about this. So this month I shared with you, and all of these products are linked below. And if you use the code Clark10 when you order directly from Meeden, you will also get a discount. So on top of the phenomenal price for this set, you're going to get a discount on top of that. What comes in it? Just real quick review, because I've already shared this in past videos this month. You get a set of 10 watercolor brushes. This is the full set. Now, I'm going to be using, you'll probably see me grab these 5 today at one point or another while I'm painting this. So I'm just putting those other brushes up top. I'm going to set these to the side. But I've got 3 different size rounds. One of the the smallest flat, and then the larger wash brush for when I wet my background. In addition, you get 24 tubes of watercolor. That is what they look like. They are 12 ml tubes. So, does that say 12? Yes. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me just double check. So, hi, George Pencil Art. All right. So yeah, we have 12 ml tubes. I love that not only does it show you the color on the front of the tube, all of the information for the paint is also right there on the front of the tube. You get its light fast rating. You also get its pigment information, which you guys know I am a huge fan of. And I think it's important to know your pigment info, and you can agree or disagree, and that's okay. I've done other videos and talked about it before, so in the interest of time, because it is going to take some time today, we're going to move right through this. So in addition to the brushes and the 24 tubes of paint, you also get this ceramic palette. I'm probably going to use this today because I am going to need to mix up quite a bit of a like a desaturated blue for some of this, the mountains and stuff that are in the background. So I'm going to mix some paint up in this. So you'll be seeing me use this today. And in addition to the palette and the paints and the brushes, I'm looking for my other one. You also got a block. Okay, this is not the one, but it looks like this. You get a block of the Meeden 100% cotton watercolor paper. This is rough. You get cold press. The one that I've got one underneath here. And I had another one, but it's lost in the chaos that is this studio at the moment. Oh, wait a minute. It looks like this. I found it. So it looks exactly like this. 20 sheets, 10.2 by 7 inches, 300 GSM. I love this paper. I love this paper. I've had no issues with it whatsoever, and I definitely recommend. Okay. So let's review what I've done with these supplies this month. In addition to the stuff, and that's the basic set. So the basic set that I recommended to you comes with the palette, the brushes, the paints, the paper. It's everything you need. It is everything you need to get started. If watercolor is something that you thought, I'd like to give that a try, this is absolutely, I can get behind this set. I think it is definitely, you know, I'll kind of talk about review of each of the pieces as we go through today's painting, and kind of touch on each of those, why I think they're a good choice. In addition to those two things, I did a couple add-ons. You could choose to get the add-ons or not. One of them was this ceramic palette. And the reason I chose this ceramic palette was because it holds all 24 colors in these little spots. And it has the lid, right? And the lid is made out of porcelain as well. So you can mix in the lid, which I do. And I will say, can you see that the shape, I mean, it's porcelain. They're not perfect. They're not all perfectly flat. Like I know that I spoke to Rob, who definitely ordered the set to give it a try. He said he was having stuff like, my stuff will run towards the outside edges. He was having a little pooling in the center, and it's a little slightly divot there. So, excuse me. This as an add-on for a porcelain palette, which is the palette, and you see there's the back side. The palette and the lid that you can mix on. There's plenty of space here. And I definitely recommend. It's like, I want to say it's less than $16. It could be around 15. I'm not remembering the exact, but it's linked below. James says, I want that palette so bad. I love this palette. In fact, if I do ever decide that I am going to try their set of gouache, I'll get another one. I'll get another one to put the, because I believe the gouache is 24 tubes too. It is perfect for 24 tubes of watercolor. And you know what? While we're on that, let me just say, I didn't wet this yet because I want to be able to really hold it up and show you guys. There isn't a color that I haven't used this month. I've used every single one of the colors in one project or another. Can you see how much is left in this palette? I've been using it for a month almost daily. My black is down. You're starting to see the porcelain there. You're starting to see it there in that, I believe that is, yeah, Prussian blue. And some of the burnt sienna we're seeing through. But all in all, this, I am really pleased with how these paints have lasted. I've tried some others where you start using that paint and you're putting a divot in that pan so fast. I've been painting with them a month. And the only one I will say, the raw umber, that one's a little hard re-wetting. You need to prime that first. It takes a bit when you're re-wetting that one. But as for the rest, they re-wet beautifully. They re-wet very easily. And I don't go through a ton of the paint when I'm painting. So I'm really pretty pleased. I'm pretty pleased with the paints. So put that up there. I painted the little swatch card and I painted the large swatch. There are all of your colors swatched out. In addition to that, we had a Monday mix and I showed you how to mix a Payne's Gray. And I went a step further and added the rose. This is kind of like a, if you're familiar with, almost like a Moonglow by Daniel Smith, maybe. I mean, it has that pinker undertone. And you don't have to add rose. If you want to make a Payne's Gray, ultramarine blue, and burnt sienna. My hands are a little shaky today, guys. You're going to have to bear with me. So, yeah, ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. You will make a beautiful Payne's Gray. Super easy. In fact, we may end up doing some of that today as we go along. But so we did one of the Monday mixes was that. Last week, if you were here, we painted this. So this was another painting done with the Meeden watercolors. I also did, it's upside down. I did this one. Now this, I recorded this, but it's not on the channel. I did not push this as a video yet. If this is one that you might be interested, it was a floral, and I don't hardly ever paint florals. I did this while I was hanging out with patrons last Friday, so that was fun. So welcome back, Joseph. So anyways, this here, yeah, it's not on the channel, but if it's one that you'd like to see, I did record it. So that's a possibility. You have to drop me a comment. And then I can't even look at this yet. We're not even going to discuss this chaos yet. In addition, if you are a patron or a member here on YouTube, you have access to Discord. And if you're on YouTube and you are a member and you're not sure how to get to the Discord, you have to have a Discord account first. And then you have to connect your Discord account to YouTube. And you do that over on Discord. And if you're unsure of how to do it, I have a community post. So you just go to my channel and click on the community tab. You'll easily find the post. It should be near the top for how to do that. We have had some of you drop into Discord within the past week or so, and I am super excited to have everybody over there. But I've been sharing. I share a lot on Discord. So if you want the behind the scenes stuff, what am I working on? What am I doing? The crazy thoughts I have, like today's painting. Yeah, I was posting over there this morning. Anyways, sign up to Discord and join us over there. Okay, so I did these, and the reason I was saying that is because if you are on Discord, you saw the whole process. I shared everything I was doing with this. If you follow me on Instagram, I shared the picture of the page like taped off, and then I was like, I'm gonna do 8 mini paintings, which I turned into bookmarks. So I did this guy, and I got the glare because they've been laminated, and the texture of the watercolor paper, it glares a lot. So I've shared pictures of these before they were laminated over on Discord. So I did this one, and I did this one. And then we did some foggy, misty trees on this one. That one was looking up at the stars from the trees. All right, and there's our mountains with our night sky. That one was sunset at the ocean. This one, our field of flowers with our hills in the distance. And then this one, if you guys have been with me for a bit, you know I just did a painting recently that sits behind me here, right there. And I wanted to do a bookmark of it. I think this is my favorite one out of all the bookmarks. I love the way that this one turned out. And of course, never to disappoint, I had birch trees. More trees. And we're going to paint more trees today. I love landscapes. So anyhow, that's all the stuff I've painted with these paints. And this paper. And that's all I've done this month. So I shared all that to give you kind of, let me know in the comments below. Rob says, love the trees, but the ocean sunset is the best. Which one of those bookmarks did you like the best? I'd love to hear in the comments. So I'm sharing all of that to show you I've really been using these products, and I have really been testing them out. The other add-on that I listed, and I know Rob grabbed one, is the brush wash. This is ceramic. It has some weight to it. This is not going to move on my desk. When I fill this with the water, it's not going to move. I also, and I included these below, I have the paint pucks. Now, I put both of these in to show you the difference in size. So the larger paint puck does fit down inside here. And you'll see as I go along and paint today, I'm going to use some pretty dark colors. This side's going to get filthy. This side will stay amazingly clean. So I'm going to show you, and that's definitely, I can say that having the paint pucks in the bottom absolutely contributes to that. So I have the little ones, and before I would just put one little one in each corner, but I like the bigger one better. So you can do either. They're both linked below. Or, you know, you don't need to do any of them. But if you're interested in the brush wash, that's what that is. Are we ready to do some painting? It's only been, 18 minutes of reviewing everything I've done this month with these. But Rob says that thing is amazing. He's referring to this brush wash is what I am assuming. I love it. Okay. Gail says, love the ocean sunset. All right. So that's two that say, see, that one's my favorite. I got two votes on this. And I've done this one before. I don't know if you guys remember that. I know I shared it. I did that before with gouache. So this is that with gouache. And then that's it with watercolor. This is Daniel Smith gouache. Pretty sure I used Daniel Smith gouache on this one. And that's Meeden watercolor. Look at the vibrancy in the Meeden watercolor. Like compared to Daniel Smith, I understand this is Daniel Smith gouache, but look at the vibrancy in these colors. Like that's why I wanted to paint this one again. I really wanted to kind of put them through and see how, like, the pigment load and how much, what was I gonna see come out of these colors. Set that back there. Yep, so we have one vote for this guy. but that one's my favorite. All right. I am like struggling today. My asthma was going really bad. I had to do a treatment, like did it a couple hours ago, so that hopefully my hands would stop shaking by the time, because if any of you have asthma and have to use albuterol, you know it makes your hands shake like crazy. That does sound good, James. James says canned pineapple and bacon pieces on an English muffin. It sounds like a pizza. Sounds like it just wants to be a pizza. You just need some pizza sauce and some cheese with that on your English muffin in the toaster oven. Little pizzas. Okay. Can we come to today? I don't know what I was thinking. Like, it's... Wait a minute. Can I get there? Here. This down in the corner down there. You see the reference photo. I am not going for photorealism today. We only have, well, probably an hour and a half by the time I get started. This is a big undertaking. Tara says no pineapple on pizza. That is a debate we will leave for the chat, right? Excuse me. And this will be our last live stream in February. So any of the Valentine specific emotes, this is the last chance for all of you members who are here in the chat to be using any of those, because they will be going away. All right. So I took my reference photo, and these lines, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to follow these lines, but I sure am going to try. What I did was I took my tracing paper, and this is my tracing paper, and I taped it to my monitor. I have a Huion canvas that you can write on for doing like digital work. It's kind of like a Wacom, but a lot cheaper. Anyhow, I brought my image up on that, and I like it because I can just kind of pull that forward and like tip it down on above my desk, so I can just trace out my work on that. I went for where I saw changes in values. There are a lot of changes in values in this piece. So again, hopefully I can follow this. It looks like this stressed me out. Like I wear an Apple Watch. It went off. Just as soon as I started doing this, like transferring it to the paper, my watch went off and was like, we've noticed that it noticed that your heart rate went above 100 beats per minute, and you haven't really been moving in the last 10 minutes. And I was like, no kidding. So, needless to say, I was a little stressed out. But just because this is the biggest thing I think I've done during a live stream, and I have no idea if I can pull it off, but we sure are going to give it a try. And we will be talking about these supplies as we go along. But I'm going to paint this step by step. I did share the reference if it's something that you want to get. And then maybe rewatch the stream and paint along with me. So right now I'm going to first mix up some color. So I'm going to take the palette that would have come with the watercolor set. And I need to mix up, if we look at our reference photo down below me here on the screen, this blue, like if it was Daniel Smith, I'd be reaching for lunar blue. And if you're painting this with just, other supplies that you already have, which absolutely you can, this is going to be like a phthalo blue and like a Mars black or a black. If it's Mars black, PDK 11, which is what this is. And other brands that can cause some granulation. I'm going to be using in this set, so if you did get this set and you are painting along with me with your Meeden watercolors, I am grabbing the Prussian blue. And I'm going to put that into one well of this palette. And I'm going to need a bit of paint, so keep putting in as much as I can here. And then with that, and the dirty water begins. I'm going to mist a few of these just because I know I'm going to be using not necessarily much up there, but that's fine. Okay. And then we're going to use black. Now that was just a little. Now I'm using my largest round. I barely grabbed any because I don't want to go too far too fast. Like I don't want to make this too dark, and it's easy to do that. So we're going to mix up, and I'll show you. I'm going to put a little bit of this on this other palette so you can see the color. And you're going to see me checking my reference photo often. I think I need just a touch more black. It might have been too far. I don't know. We will see. Just going to mix that color up. And now we're going to use, so that was not a lot of water. That was more pigment than water. Just trying to get as much out of my brush as I can. So that's going to be, it's set off just to the, you see it right here, just right there to that side. I'm going to be going after that quite a bit. You see that color? That's like our, if we look at the darkest mountain in the background, right? It's a little lighter than that. So we're going to get that by adding a little bit more water to this. Basically just going to dip my brush in my water real quick and come back, and there you go. There's my color I'm going to use. It could be a little bit more blue, but really I'm not worried about it. I'm going for close, not perfect. And in this, I am not going for photorealism. I am going for a representation of this that will hopefully, I'm going to move my, I'm casting a shadow, or I was casting a shadow, because I have my phone set up so that I could get a close-up angle for you. If I bring that in, I'll put it back, you know, when I change over. Okay, now from my, just grab my kneaded eraser here, because from my graphite paper that I used to transfer this, it's just seeing just a weird line kind of cutting through here. All right, I'm not going to worry about lightening up these lines too much because I don't think they're going to show when it's all said and done. All right, again, I tried to go for where there were transitions. That still had quite a bit of blue. There's quite a bit of blue in this water. Okay. So I tried to mark where I saw the transitions and values. I am going to start by wetting my background with some water. Hopefully, this part of the painting is going to paint quickly, and it will surprise me at how fast this comes together. But I'm like not holding out hope. It's a big one. So I saw Rob mention, I saw that Rob mentioned the brushes, and he said those brushes were also a very nice surprise. I absolutely agree. I am very pleased with these brushes. I'm going to go over this. So all the way down, so my tree line where my trees start getting dark is down here, right? Everything above that are these versions of this color we just mixed up. So, and I'm going to want them to kind of be softer and in the background. So I'm going to come in and wet this whole area. Now this is 100% cotton paper, and I can tell you, I've thrown quite a bit of water at this paper, and it has handled everything I have thrown at it. And when it dried, it has dried nice and flat. You know, I let it dry before I remove it from the block. And I have had no issues at all with this paper. I am really pleased. If you've never tried the Meeden paper before, even if you're not interested in any of these other supplies, I definitely recommend giving the watercolor paper a go, because if you have been interested in watercolor paper, this 10.2 by 7 size for the price, 20 sheets, it's a great starting point. It definitely. Okay, I have my small flat because I'm going to want to lift. So if you look at the reference photo down there, there's this like area right behind this mountain where I'm going to try to preserve the white of my paper. And kind of above that in the clouds, we've got these like kind of like sun streaked lines just in a few spots. It's not major. So that's why I have this small flat, because I'm going to try to use that to lift. Now I will say that their Prussian blue is, I just had it and my mind just went, nope, I don't know it. It's phthalo blue. So it's going to be staining. And yeah, PV23. So it's like the dioxazine purple and phthalo blue. The phthalo will definitely stain, but I'm hoping as long as I can lift it out and just get a lighter value, it'll be fine. Okay. I'm very pleased with these brushes. Yes, your bristles are going to stain. That's normal. They were white. I've mostly used this one just to apply water. So you can see there the white and then the blue. And then, but you can see these that I've used like most often this month, they're definitely stained. And that's normal. They're white brushes. George asked, does the light graphite show through the colors? And is it considered part of most watercolors? This is not going to show through. Great question, George. This is not going to show through. If I wanted to do a line and wash, I wouldn't care if I was going back with, you know, permanent line work. Okay, I had blue on that. I wouldn't care if it showed up. But with this, I think that my... There we go. Yeah, see, it's a little... It is a little staining, but that's not going to matter. But mine are light enough that these areas are going to be darker. And then if not, at the end, I can always try to lift some of it with an eraser after the fact. But I wasn't worried about it today. I just really, knowing that the time constraint I had, I want to be able to, I want to be able to know where those lines are as I'm coming through. So I have a tissue in my hand. I'm going to be using this tissue to kind of dab out, because if we look over this mountain that's behind here, we're going to see that this is actually clouds. Like it was fog, and they're actually clouds that are like lifting like this direction through this landscape. So we're going to try to achieve that. We're going to start off by, see, my darkest values in my sky are going to be like over here. And already, there we go. I got to remember that here I have this like really light spot behind that mountain. So I'm going to come like to it. And that's why I wanted this area all wet. course, I just dabbed that out, so my paper's not so wet there because I want a nice soft transition here. And it's going to come down. About like that. And this kind of just goes up. Now this paper's really wet. It's going to let these colors, this guy, let me just get this lined in. There we go. You're welcome. All right, so you see I just used up pretty much what I put in there, but we're just going to bring a little bit more over. And this was definitely diluted with more water. So we definitely want a lighter value. I want more water than that. This is the lighter area of my sky. So here's where my mountain kind of starts, but I'm not going to worry about that because I'm going to paint that over afterwards. I want this to be a little darker through here than what I'm going to want to finish with. And I'm going to come right into my mountain area because my mountain is darker than this. I'm making sure that I still have a sheen on my paper. And I'm going in this direction because that is kind of the direction angle that my clouds are going. I'm going to come right down through on this mountain because again, when I paint this mountain, it's darker. It's a darker value. So I can come right over it and let that sky just naturally, darker value here. It'll naturally fade behind the mountain. Sorry, this is going to be, it's going to be a challenge to keep up with chatting and talking you through this one. There's a lot going on here. And this has to dry because if you look at that reference photo, there's definitely a hard line and this gets much darker over here. So I'm going to grab a little bit more of that mix that I did. A little water, but a little less water, so I got a darker value. And I could have taped this off if I wanted a nice white border. I wasn't too worried about that today. Okay, now I'm going to take some of these darker values and I'm just going to kind of randomly drop some in. And those will kind of feather out on their own. Now, one thing about this watercolor paint I definitely can say is that it pretty much stays where you put it. You're going to see, I'll get soft edges from this, but I'm not going to, it's not going to move. I mean, this is definitely not like core. If you're intimidated by, you know, something like that, you don't have to worry about that with this because it pretty much moves, pretty much goes where you put it and kind of stays there. As far as, I'm not going for exact on this guy, just something similar. You see how I'm just kind of like letting the brush dance around and drop in a few darker values because when I look at my reference photo, it's kind of what the sky looks like to me. And then I forgot what I was saying. Oh, it pretty much stays where you put it. I'm going to get nice soft edges with this, but I am not like it'll soften out, but it's not going to move too far. So yeah, I could have taped it off and given myself, you know, a nice border. I wasn't too worried about it. Okay, I think that looks pretty similar to the sky we have. Now I want a very light version of this. So little paint, a lot of water, because we're going to come down through, this stays bright pretty much to one mountain, two mountains, up into that part of this one. But then it kind of, that's a little, I'm gonna, more water, it's still too dark. So we lighten with water, not with white paint. Right, and this part is already drying, and I want it to be, especially as I get through here, I want this to be wet. So I'm just going to, I mean, the paper's still damp, but I know that this paint will not move enough. There we go. See, and I'm going to want that really light color down through some of these areas. So we're just going to pull it through and just going to keep pulling it with this brush. It holds quite a bit of water. And I'm just going to pull that down. Anything that I need to paint over this that would be a darker value will be fine. But some of my areas, right? Some of my areas have a really light, like this part of the mountain, there's really a light gray blue color, and we're going to pull some of that through here. All that paint. And actually, it will dry. It will dry plenty. I'm just going to wet down through. Softening that edge there. There we go. And I don't even think I really need to lift here. Where I will need to lift is when I make this mountain darker, and I have to lift some back out to get equivalent of this value. That's where I might need to lift. And I have a tissue in my hand for that. All right, tiny bit of paint, lots of water. Another thing that I will mention, these brushes, I have not seen a single hair shed out of these brushes. I've been very, very impressed by them. Putting in this blue where my, the same value, it's not as bright of a blue, but where my water is going to be. So the water is going to come into here. And it comes up right into there. And there's another spot back here, but it's almost, I'm just trying to track where that is, up about here. It's almost white. Like, preserve the white of the paper. White. So I'm going to try not to put any right there. All right. I think that needs to be bluer, but I'm going to take, let's see, I'm going to take just a touch, yeah, of that Prussian blue. I would use phthalo if I had it, just phthalo, but that's the one complaint I have about this set is they don't give you just a plain phthalo blue. And I'm going to put a little bit of this brighter blue through here. Some of this will need to get darker. But I want some of those like phthalo undertones in some of this water. And again, I'm not going for photorealism. I'm just going for at least a close representation of what we're seeing in our reference photo here beside me. And you see, it's almost like here we almost have like some tealy green colors. And I think this one, which I should keep my sheet here so I can tell you the colors. Look at that green. That is just phthalo green. The deep green, this one here might have been a nice choice too, if you see that one. But let's rinse that out. That's definitely way too strong. That needs a lot of water. And we'll put a little bit of that green blue right there. Just because we're going to need it later. So we'll lay in a few of those values now, because then this will be dry. And that's another thing that I've really enjoyed about these paints, is that once they're dry, can you guys hear Tuka downstairs? Lou must be moving around through the house or something. She's just going off squawking. That was a little bright green. See, I said it was too much, and then I just had to push my luck. It's okay, just damp brush, lift it out. It will dry lighter, that's fine. All right. So if these colors dry, I've been able to come back and layer them up. Can you hear her? Rob says, Tuka. It's 2 U's, 2 K's. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know if it'll let me do it. I think it will. Which is funny that she starts. That's Tuka. That's how you spell it. She is named after the former goalie. And if you can't see, I'm wearing a Boston Bruins t-shirt today. I love the Bruins. Huge hockey fan. Fun facts, if you didn't know. Anyhow. And she was named after Tuukka Rask, the goalie. That's how she got her name, Tuka. Well, we thought she was a he when we first named her, but, you know, it works. Either way, it's fine. All right. George says, I thought it was a bird outside your window. No, it's a bird. I have the studio door shut, and it is a bird downstairs below me. Oh, yeah, she's making her presence known. All right. So now, the thing that I was saying, these paints don't really move a lot. I am not going to be able to get the sharp edge I want up here yet, so I'm not going to paint that part yet. This has to dry more. And let me just show you guys. I don't know if you can see. I've used a ton of water. You see the little bit of buckling, like where you would enter to take it off? Oh, I only have two sheets left on this block. I've used the heck out of this paper. I absolutely love it. But it's a little, you see how it's a little rippled. Don't worry about it. It will dry. It'll go perfectly flat again. And then I will remove it from the block. So what I can do, I don't want to paint here because this has a harder edge. Oh my goodness, Rob just gifted 50 memberships and they are going to start rolling in. So there's a lot of people for me to go through. You're going to see it pop in chat. YouTube is handing them out right now. Wow. Thank you, Rob. That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh my goodness. Welcome all the new super fans. So if you have just been gifted a super fan membership from Rob, yeah, if you want to join, you have access to Discord now. So if you want to join us in Discord and see what that's all about, make sure your Discord is connected to YouTube. And again, if you have no idea how to do that, but you want to join us over there, go to the community tab. I have all the instructions for how to connect your Discord. I'm getting the green off my palette here. How to connect your Discord to YouTube. Okay, so this is still, remember, I just wet the bottom of this. It's still very damp, but our trees that are down here, they could stand with a little feathering, right? So if we go to some of the stuff that's our background color, now I'm going to grab, actually not that small one. I'm going to grab my medium-ish sized round. I'm going to grab some of our color again that we mixed up. Now, these, at least the ones that are here, this is probably as dark a value as this mountain is, if not darker. So I'm just going to grab some of this straight from what we've mixed, right? Maybe just a touch of water. We're going to give that a try and see. Now I have a sponge. I keep a sponge. Sometimes I'll just like tap my brush and it pulls any excess water because I don't want to flood my paper with water. And I'm going to come into this spot and I'm going to paint in, and it's a little dark. I think I want to lighten it up just slightly. So I'm not worried about. I am like so excited. Welcome to all the new members. All right, I'm just gonna dab that up a little bit because I want a little lighter value. There we go. And with this, I don't mind if this edge feathers out because this is supposed to be tops of distant trees. And I'm just going to kind of tap my way. And this is one of those instances where I can say, if you have shaky hands, now I'm going to do a little bit of negative painting here because there are trees in front of this, which I don't really have to do the negative painting. The trees are darker, right? But if I don't do the negative painting, then I'm not going to see where my lines were anymore because this will cover it. So also to kind of expand on answering George's earlier question, the lines just kind of disappear. So, and sometimes like if I was not using my graphite paper to transfer my lines, I would have, or I could have used like a, oh my God, Rob, you did not have to do that. Thank you so much. Rob said, I had something good happen to me, so I want to share the fun. I want to give 2 Meeden sets to people on this live stream. At Clark Fine Art, you get the hard part of picking. Oh my goodness. I don't know how, I don't even know how we would do that. In that super, thank you so much for the super chat, Rob. I'm like, okay, I gotta finish putting this in. Let me get this color in. I have to be able to pause. As for, okay, so the best way to be able to do gifting a Meeden set would be, I'm not sure, Rob, if you can get a specific amount, like a gift card from Meeden, because Meeden does have gift cards. If you click my link to anything that's Meeden, all right, that's about what I need. This one behind it is a lighter value, but we're gonna let that dry a little bit and then we'll come back in to that. With the extras, he says, oh my goodness. Oh, thanks, Dimitri. Dimitri K. I hope I said that right. And if I didn't, I apologize. Love this channel. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, so Rob, the best way to do that is if you did 2 separate Meeden gift cards that then the winners, because you can do it like a e-card where you get a code. And so then the winners would be able to go on and order that specifically. Or, I don't know, we could figure out where you could just order it and ship it, but then you'd have to have their address. You see what I mean? Like, I'm not sure how we would go about that. We definitely need to figure that out. Okay. Let's see. All right, using this same value, I've got another spot here. Yes, this is like so hard to follow. I don't know what I did to myself. All right, so I'm going to pop this in. And this is, again, this is just supposed to look like distant trees. So as long as this edge and what is going to be around this will be darker, but just like before, I'm going to kind of do a little negative painting, right, where I paint around those edges so that I can still see my lines to come back with the darker values. And again, I'm going for close. I'm not going for perfect. Okay. And Rob says everyone smash that like button. Yes, please smash that like button. So it looks like, I don't know if there's still some memberships out there, but trust me, YouTube is going to like hand them out. Um, if you don't know how to be eligible for gifted memberships, you just go to memberships, and especially like on the channel, and you have to select like allow gifted memberships from this channel. And I can tell you that what happens, for those of you who might be concerned, like, oh, well, I don't want to be, I don't want to get one and then have to worry about canceling something or being charged for it to continue after the fact. It is absolutely not like that, which I love that YouTube does. The way the gifted memberships work are, you are gifted a membership for the month, and you have that for the month. When it's over, unless you choose to continue it on your own, it just goes away. And YouTube will take care of adding or removing you from the Discord server as well. So I don't even have to worry about that. It's really good the way they have it all worked out. I'm really excited. I hope that some of you who have been gifted a membership today, if you're on Discord, will pop over and join the Discord server. Like I said, I post a lot of behind the scenes. I'm always communicating over there. For our community members, we have our live chat held over there every week. Okay. Oh, hi, Erica. Well, welcome. Erica says this is the first live that I've had to watch or been able to watch, or yeah, you click on the green. Rob says click on the green message at the top of the live chat if you are watching this live. If you're watching this on the replay, this probably does not apply to you. But there is a little gift with the number 50. And if you did not receive a gifted membership yet, if there are any left, you may be able to click on that and claim one. All right, still working in these darker values here. This one is definitely darker, and certainly has a hard edge as well. It has a hard edge, but you're going to see me come back with water because underneath it is much softer. And I'm just wetting down to the next section because the color will just kind of fade out. If you see on these, there's fog back here. So I'm going to put in some of the darker value. Again, I say darker value, but you see I'm really watering that color down quite a bit on my palette. Hi, Laura Isabel Gonzalez Art. Go. And this is just going to kind of goes like this. And there's a little bit right through here. Now I've just folded my tissue and I'm going to press and lift because right through here, right, we have that fog. And it's a little darker this part. Again, as long as my paper's still damp, I'll get a nice soft edge. By pressing and lifting like that though, know that you just dried a bit of your paper out. It's not going to be as smooth, but that's fine right there. Also right in here above these trees, we have some. And if I want more, let's come back through. This comes all the way down. Touches that. And Laura says, what are we doing today? So the reference photo is right down here below me. That's my overly ambitious reference that I am attempting. We will see how far we get. And yes, I am working on the Meeden paper. And Laura says, that is my favorite paper. So there's another testimonial for you. It is definitely some great paper. It is certainly worth giving a try if you have not tried this paper before. All right. I'm going to let that kind of be scattered because we have some fog coming through here. I need this to be a much lighter value. I'm going to come back with these lighter values. This needs to get darker now, much darker. So love seeing all the new people in chat. All right, so now I have not diluted this as much this time. We're going darker here, and it's going to come darker right into here. But this is going to get light again because there's more of that fog. And I still think that is too dark. So once again, just a little bit more water in my mix. Right, I'm gonna rinse out my brush. And look at how, again, like I said, look at how dirty this side is. And then you see my clean water, still nice and clean. I'm loving this, this setup. I love this whole setup here. Is excellent. Sorry, my train of thought was interrupted. Okay. And I'm just gonna kind of go with it. I know that this will lighten as I go, as it dries. And you see, I'm just kind of tapping up and kind of breaking that line. So it's not a perfectly straight line. And that just, the viewer will fill it in. There's trees there, right? You don't have to worry about you know, perfectly painting each tree or each point. They're just gonna, like, these are way too far away. We wouldn't see those details. Need to let this kind of fade out down here. So it only gives you the option to buy. Laura, when you click on that, does it let you, do you see anything where it says allow gifted memberships from this channel? Because you do have to have that authorized. And I would love to see you get a gifted membership. While this is wet, I'm still just tapping in. There's going to be a tree right about here. I want a lighter value for this part up here. It just kind of like fades off into the distance. There's fog. I know one of the things on YouTube I think said, like, if you go to my YouTube page and you click on the memberships tab, think over there should be a way. I've posted it before in the community tab, like how you do it, because I looked up the steps. I'm just not remembering them exactly right now. And sometimes when it comes up, it'll ask you right in the chat, you know, do you want to allow gifted memberships from this channel? And you can just say yes. And that would make it easy. Yeah, that you're correct. That is one thing, Laura. If your Laura Isabel Gonzalez art is a branded channel, if it's a brand channel, brand channels they won't have that option, unfortunately, to receive gifted memberships from any channel. So we did find that out with another member that always wanted to get one and kept not being able to claim them, and then that was the reason. So hopefully that won't be the case for you, but if you are having difficulties claiming it, it might be the problem. I'm not sure if your channel is a brand channel or not, which is an option some of us selected when we set up our channels without realizing. I don't know why YouTube does that. I don't think they should, but that's just my opinion. All right, look at those are starting to come together. I am liking those. All right, this is going to be plenty dry. Let's put this mountain in back here. Get you see all that paint that I mixed up earlier? I still have quite a bit of it left because we're taking that and we're really, watering that, adding a lot of water. Because it's still not our darkest value. I think our darkest value is going to be in our tall stand of trees here, and some of our trees over here. All right, let's go for it. Let's paint in this mountain. I can still see some of my line, but I made my line lighter on purpose. And you're going to see I'm not starting over as far as I need to go, because once I work out some of the paint that's in my brush, that paint is, see how it's starting to get lighter? Now I'm going to pull that down because it just kind of disappears into our sky. And now I'm going to wet my brush, and actually I'm going to use a bigger brush because I don't need to use this small brush for this. So grabbing my larger round, because this I need to wet. So again, I'm just wetting to where the top edge of this is, because my color is only going to go as far as my paper is wet. Right, so if I wet this mountain, as we see at the bottom of that mountain, it gets really soft. Yeah, it's going to be, see, Joseph is in the same situation where his channel was branded. You can't change it, and especially if you're working towards goals of getting, all of your subscribers and monetizing yourself and things like that. You wouldn't want to change things up midstream or mid go of it. So what like Joseph will do is he has his personal channel. So like I have my personal channel. So like when I watch YouTube as Angela Clark, it's just Angela Clark. That's not branded. So I could absolutely, I don't remember if this one, I think I do have Clark Fine Art that is branded. I wouldn't be able to claim any gifted memberships either. I would have to switch over to Angela Clark and I could claim it on that. So if you do have a personal YouTube, you could do it that way. That would be one way that you could kind of get around that. You just wouldn't be claiming it as your branded art name. I hope that makes sense. All right. So I'm going to get that nice hard edge that I want to up here, but it's going to soften as we come down because it's only going to, the color's only going to go as far as I've wet my paper. And just like usual in this studio, everything dries so fast, so fast. And I'm just softening that edge up because I want that to kind of disappear into the sky because it's foggy. There we go. Tutu's Hail was gifted a membership by Rob, so they are still coming in. Welcome to the channel, members. I really do hope that some of you come on over to Discord. Like I said, if you like behind the scenes and like hanging out and chatting, there's many times some of the members or patrons can tell you I'm always popping in there. I'm always popping in there and chatting and sharing stuff. All right, so I want this to be darker. It's going to kind of get lighter about this area. I have my tissue in my hand, so I'm going to bring this down while it's really wet. Right, bring it right down to my tree line. And then I can, right, just dab a few areas, and now boom, I have fog. Pronounced Haley, right? Tutu's Haley. Is that correct? Let me know if I'm correct. My apologies. There's so many interesting names. I love the names. Those mountaintops look great, says George. Thank you, George. We still need to darken this one up a little bit. So while it's nice and wet, I can come back in, drop in some darker values. I'm going to get nice soft edges. Go. Haw. Haw like straw. Holly, right? Tutu's Holly. I am hoping that that is correct. Yes. Love it. All right. I think I'm going to leave it. I think I kind of, I'm liking this. Again, not going for perfect. I'm not going for photorealistic. I'm going for similar. Oh, Hawaiian. Okay. All right. I lived in Hawaii for 3 years. Which now, knowing that L-E, E sounds like A in Hawaiian. I remember when I first got there learning how to say Kamehameha or Kamehameha Highway. All right. I need to get some of these values back here, which are going to need to be lighter than what I was using up here. And you know what else? They're going to need not such a big brush. Rinsing that out. Set that one aside. I'm going to go back to my medium round. I think you're going to see me go to my smaller round when we get some details in this water. All right, we need to do this one that's back here. needs to be darker than what's behind it, but lighter than what's in front of it. If I needed to, I could darken that up. Oh, thank you. We were on Oahu. Lived in Oahu in Pearl City for about 3 years. It was actually 3 years pretty much to the day. And back here we also have some later. Again, just disrupt the line so that it's not smooth and it's going to look like trees in the distance. Rob, to answer that question about the list of everyone who's participating in chat, when I record my streams, my streaming software actually also records chat. So I'll have chat also. As long as that's not a branded account, Laura, try clicking on the thing and see if you can accept it on that. I hope it works. So let's try to get everybody in chat. If you're following along and you're watching the stream and you are here right now, drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. What state? You could just say your state. You can say your city if you want to, but you don't have to. Respecting everybody's privacy here, you don't have to. You could just say your state, like the studio, if you're watching. We're in Maine. He did warn me. He warned me he was doing something. Dolphin Soul. Dolphin Soul said, I've never tried watercolor, so this is a whole new world to me. I love watercolor. I love watercolor. Oh, we have Virginia and Florida, Southern California by the coast. I have family in California. They are in 29 Palms, so Southern California, but not the coast. More towards the desert. All right, I was going to keep going with that, but I need to lighten that out. Yeah, okay, so you do Inktense. It's close-ish. You have the permanence from the Inktense as they dry. So I'm just wetting down to where my other tree line is, because we see there we have that fog in this area. And then I'm going to bring some more pigment in to kind of give a softer transition through that space. So we want this to look like there's fog coming through this area of the trees as well. Hey, Rob says it's called 29 Palms because that's how many you see driving into it. All right, so again, drop some dark there, grab some water and blend that out so it softens down and we get more of this like foggy atmosphere between the layers. I am really liking that back there. Yeah, so let's see. We have Ireland. I've been there before. W.A. Castle, are we talking about 29 Palms? Or Ireland? Because Tara said, I'm in Ireland. So So we got Florida, California. Joseph brings us in with New York. And Laura says Massachusetts. So you're not that far away from me, Laura. Massachusetts. What part of Mass are you from? You don't have to be specific. We have a lot of family on the Cape. That's why I'm asking. Are you from Western Mass or Eastern Mass, Central Mass? And so here I'm not worrying about being super accurate. I just want to create the layers that are back there. Because just remember, while we may be looking at my reference photo while I'm painting this, and if you paint this, you could be looking at the reference photo while you paint this. But when other people see your painting, they're not looking at your reference photo unless you show it to them. So don't worry about being too specific. Oh, W.A. Castle said yes to 29 palms. And Rob says, I did some desert training in 29 Palms once. Never wanted to go back. I'm assuming that would be the Marine Corps. I grew up in Massachusetts. Beautiful hills. Especially in the fall. Yeah. Fall, New England in the fall. So you grew up in Massachusetts, so you're a fellow New Englander. Regardless of where you've transplanted to, right? Assuming that you're not still in New England. You may still be. Yep, Rob says United States Marine Corps. Thank you for your service, Marine. All right. I think, wow, we're ready to start pulling in some green. This is, you guys are gonna have to let me know. Like, if I don't get there, you're gonna want to see this finished in another video. Yes, Dylan. Once you were born a New Englander. It's in our blood. Okay. I'm like, now I'm starting to get nervous. This is where the painting really starts to. That was the easy part. Like, that was the easy part. I'm not intimidated, not at all. No, we're just diving in. All right. I'm going to use some of this same. This is what I think I'm going to do. Some of this same blue. I've got these trees that are in the distance. You don't really see a lot of green. And Dara says you got nothing to worry about. I don't know. I'm not worried. I'm not intimidated about like painting trees and stuff. You guys know. I just dive right in, right? All right, so I want to bring in a little green, but that is definitely way too green. We need to mute this down. So we are going to grab a little bit of our black. And I normally wouldn't do the black. You could, a good choice would be to take a little bit of your red to mute down your green. And this is definitely not blue enough for those background ones. So I'm going to grab a little bit more of that blue. And I think we're going to go with that. Like I said, I just need to be close. I don't need to be perfect. All right. Oh, I'm like, here we go. We're just going for it. I'm going to start with some of these trees because I know what's on my brush. It's going to be a little darker than I need. So there are some that are like in the background. Yeah, we're just going to put in some marks. These trees that are in front, they're going to be darker. And that's probably almost a little too, yeah, that's a little too dark. So again, water. Just grabbing some of that clean water and really lighten that up. I'm going to dab my brush on my sponge because I'm going to pull some of that water out and then come back and pick up the color. There was too much water in my brush. And I'm just going to lay in some tree shapes that are in the distance here that I'm seeing in the reference photo. Again, photo similar, not photorealistic. Some right there. We don't have a lot of detail. This is still too far away. I think this will be a decent color now to do back here. I had to figure out where I was looking. Yeah, possibly not dark enough. You know what? This is a good color. It's sort of like, it's like a sage greenish color. All right. We will figure that out before. All of a sudden, my nose just wanted to feel like it was running. We're gonna figure that out before we leave here today, Rob. How we can do that. This like sagey green, I think, will lend itself nicely in some of these banks back here. Yeah, why not? Why not? All right, I need a larger brush for that. I'm gonna go with this, what's already down here. We're gonna put in, not the right brush, larger round. How fast does that dry? This paper, this paint, everything in my studio, super fast. I swear my studio is like, I don't need, if you need something dehydrated, you just bring it into this studio. All right. I'm going to throw a lot of this sage because I can see through, well, I was hoping I could see through some of it. I'm going to wet some of this area and try not to paint into my water. Yeah, for me, it dries really quickly. But I will say, though, even with it, I say it dries quickly, this cotton paper does take longer than, say, a cellulose paper. If I had a cellulose paper in here, painting on that, that would dry so quickly. Faster than this does. This might not be quite warm enough, but it's okay. I can still see my lines. Just starting to get some of these lighter values. There's some like over here too. We're gonna just like dry brush a little bit of this. No, I don't have to worry. I don't have to worry about too much. Like if I wanted it to, if I was worried something was going to move, if I hit this with my heat tool, it's not going anywhere. It's definitely not going to go anywhere. And pretty much stay right where I put it. That's way too much green on that brush. No, the Meeden paint doesn't move much. It's really and knowing that Dolphin Soul, you said that watercolor, you'd be completely new to that. Um, Meeden, when I think of this paint here, after having used like the Cotman and the Winsor Newton, I'm just making brown. I've got too much. Well, that's fine for part of it, but not the color I was going for. I'm just experimenting. There we go. All right, so that was still not, this is still too bright. Way too bright of a green. Here we go. And what I need for the distance is going to need a little bit more blue to it. Again, grabbing some of what I've mixed up in the beginning, a little bit of this. I'm going to mix those together, and that's what I'm going to use. Again, wrong brush. All right, let's see how this does. Yeah, that's a bit better. I had a lot of water on my brush. More than I wanted. I needed this value to be darker. Right? Yeah, there's a Monday mix. I didn't get Monday mix this week. And so my apologies for those of you who have started watching that and enjoy that, where I show you how to mix some colors I try to do it every Monday. It's just a really quick video. I've done a couple so far. They seem to be going over pretty well. I know Rob has said he's enjoying them, but how to mix the color. I showed you guys already the Payne's Gray that we mixed with these paints. That was a Monday mix. All right, so back here we have, this kind of comes down. Got this like, I don't think I'm far enough over. I don't think I'm far enough over this. I don't think these are the trees I am looking for. I'm like, I've lost my way. Comes up, big tree there. Okay. So now that this has kind of dried some more, see, that's already drying on my palette. Again, I want to bring in a little bit more blue, so I'm going to come over to that blue, that Prussian blue and black mixture that I had before. Grab a little bit more of that green, and that's going to give me a much cooler version of this color. Yeah, I want to do a series that gets deeper into pigments. I think I showed you guys my great big Meeden Studio palette that I got. Here I'm just tapping in trees in front of the other ones so that we kind of have some different values there. These still are not my darkest. That one's a little dark, but not my darkest values. So I gotta be careful I don't go too dark. There we go. If it's a little dark, just dab it with a tissue. Our darker values are going to be these trees over here. So let's put some of those in. Why not? You know, I have to say, George Penciler, I cannot do trees now without thinking about George. Like every time I do a tree, I think of George. He pointed out that I was the tree lady, which I never realized how many trees I paint, but I do love to paint landscapes, so not really a big surprise there. Hi, Snow! This is definitely an ambitious undertaking. The I Love George t-shirts yet? No. Grab a little bit more water. Remember, we want a lighter value. It's just a little more water. And our watercolors will definitely dry lighter than they look when they are wet. I find I often have to try really hard to make sure like I'm not making all my evergreens the same way. So sometimes like if I start one and jump to the left first, I'll start one and go to the right on another one, because then it'll like offset how my hand just kind of moves and lays that down. There we go. And I think I have, let's see if we can zoom you guys in so you can really move this over. Get a better look at how this is coming along. Now you're not going to see the palette up here, but you will still see what I'm doing here. Okay. And I'm probably going to lean off screen because I'm trying to lean over to be able to paint into this. Did you hug a George today? Oh my God. That's excellent. So again, I'm looking at my reference photo. And photo similar, not realistic, right? Don't worry about making them perfect. I don't need to make every tree match what is in the reference photo. So again, they're not going to see unless you show them your reference photo, right? They're not going to see what you were painting from. They're just going to see your beautiful painting. I definitely have to say, this was certainly the biggest challenge. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do that in 2 hours. And as you guys can see, probably not. So you're going to have to let me know in the chat. And this might work out perfect, Rob, because if we're not finished, excuse me, if we're not finished today, we could certainly finish this up next week. And while we're finishing it, we can announce the winners of Rob wants to give away a set of these the first curated collection with the Meeden supplies. So we could do that. We could announce the winner next week and we can get it all worked out. We could get it all worked out between now and then. For that to happen, let me know. Drop me a comment if that sounds good to you guys, because. And then, Rob, should we, my question is, open it up to those who are here watching on the replay? It is now 20 minutes to 5. And if they're watching on the replay and they've been with us this long, would commenting, even on the replay, maybe be a way that they could also enter? Or do you want it to be just for those who are here during the live stream? Because that's fine too. This is your show today, Rob. But I can finish this next week if we don't finish it all today, which, knowing that I haven't even gotten into here yet, and it's 20 minutes to 5, we might not finish it. This live every Thursday at 3. Yes, so Dolphin Soul, that is correct. Every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm here hanging out with you guys. I hope that you guys will come back and join me again. We have fun. Well, I have fun. I hope you guys have fun. I have fun hanging out with you. I picked some crazy, apparently, push my luck with some of my choices, but that's all right. If you don't challenge yourself, who's going to challenge you? Right? It's just a little bit out of my comfort zone. And I felt really nervous. Well, of course, I told you guys, if you were here in the beginning, my Apple Watch told me my heart rate was like jumped over 100. And I didn't seem to be moving. So I was like, well. And that was right after I transferred all of that line work to the paper. And I was like, what on earth, girl, what were you thinking? Yeah, we got this. Why not? No problem. Sure. And I was like, oh no, and I know I can do it. I just wasn't sure if I could do it in a stream, because I try to keep everything to one stream. Once in a while, we can go to more than one. This could be one of those times. So I added a little bit more blue to really cool it down, because this is a section that's pushed back a little further, which these maybe shouldn't have been as green as they were, but that's okay. I can always glaze them a little bit. Just take our, I could probably just take some of my dirty water. It's pretty blue. And I'm going to have to show you guys that all I'm doing is just glazing a little bit of blue into this area where I put these trees to kind of cool that down, push it back a little bit. All right. Okay, so I need a little bit more there, but that has to dry because I have to come over these with another layer and bring some trees in front. I can put a few more trees in front of these now, which we need to do that again. So I'm going to take my sap green. I didn't need, well, I got more trees. My black, right? And that's going to bring us, really desaturate that green. And then, because I'm still working back, I'm going to bring in some of that Prussian blue and black mixture, and we're going to cool it right down. And now you see, now I've almost used up most of that blue that I mixed in the beginning. All right. If I tap just the belly of my brush, it's going to leave the paint but draw the water. See, it's mostly water. And it'll draw the water out and leave most of the paint in the brush. So now anything that I want to darken up, just come back over that. And I'm not trying to cover all of it. I can leave some spaces. These trees are a distance away from me, but I do see some varying values in them. If you go on to Patreon and grab this reference, you'll see that. Oh, you are welcome. Yeah, the brush tip, you just touch it right at the base of the belly of the brush to your see, watch, I can actually really show you pretty well with the big round. So if I had my large round, right, we get it all full of water now. If I come into some pigment, but this has way too much water in it, right? You see how really liquid that went from dry to it's really wet. Let me get a clean spot on my tissue. Okay. If I just come to the base, right where the ferrule and the brush meet, and I press, if you use the tissue, see, there's hardly any paint on there. If I touch the tip of my brush, see, lots of paint. But if I just touch at the base where my bristles meet my ferrule, I'm going to draw a lot of that excess water that would just pool and flood into your painting out of my brush. So I just have the pigment left in it. And then I'd be able to come on and paint. There. All right. So let's take some of this color while I've got this mixed up. And I'm going to lay in, I've got this taller stand of trees here. It's going to be darker, but back here, here's some lighter values. And that looks a bit darker. But if I come in, just tap that out, lighten it up. It just tells me I need a little bit more water, right, to get that lighter value that's back there. And this actually works its way like right down. Need some more water. Right down into this area. Yeah, no, it does not smear when you tap the tissue. If you just press, and then of course you see the beads of water on my ferrule. Those are always a danger. You always want to make sure you wipe those off. But if you just press at the base of the belly of the brush, where it meets your ferrule, you're going to pull out more water than pigment, because most of the pigment will be up in the tip of your brush. Okay, I'm going to want to get some different values in here. So just grabbing some of this darker, now that this is nice and wet, right? Because there are a lot of trees in here, and you see that this is wet, but that part's not really wet. We're going to dab a little bit of that out, still a little too dark. The more I go, the lighter this will get. Right? And we're just tapping. We're going to leave some space, and it's just going to start to look like there's a bunch of trees here. Your brain is going to see that, or the viewer, they're going to look at and go, oh, okay, that's a big stand of trees over there. Right? Because we just have different, like, think of like tops of trees, tree shapes. All we got to do is dab them in. As we break that plane, I want it to just kind of look like tips. And then as it kind of moves down, just kind of start dabbing. Again, these are like still so far in the distance that you're not going to see a lot of the details. And it looks like I hardly have any paint on my palette here. All right, so if you, and some people, you know, may have popped in and out. If you're interested in this Meeden set, we're still going to be figuring out the details. Rob like sprung this on me spontaneous during the stream, so we're going to figure this out. But if you would like excuse me, if you would like to be considered to receive one of this month's curated collections from Meeden, drop me a comment. Please enter me in the drawing, or enter me in the drawing. I want to be in the drawing. Just let me know you want to be in there. And I know I've said before, like drop like where everybody was, you know, from, but be like, tell me I want to be in the drawing and your state. So I want to be in the drawing and your state. And I think it would have to be, Rob, I'm pretty sure it would have to be US or Canada, because I don't know where Meeden ships, but I know that they send to the US and Canada. I don't know if they send to Ireland, Tara. So I'm not sure on that, but please drop me in the drawing. Florida. Yeah, perfect. Just like that. Just like Dolphin Soul did. Just like that. And then we will pick the winners. You said 2, right, Rob? You said 2. So we'll pick 2 winners. And then next week, we will announce who those are. Now, I'm going to try to reach out to you between now and then. I don't know how I'm going to do that because on YouTube, I can't send direct messages to people on YouTube. But if you join the Exploring Art group on Facebook, I could certainly be able to contact you there. Names would be different though than names will be different than what they are here on YouTube, so it's really hard. You really got me thinking on this one, Rob, because it's how do I contact people? To make sure I can get their information. This is like a blue. I got a little bit of green from what was left on my, this guy. I've almost used up most of this paint. Yeah, I'm on MeWe as well. Yes. And it's Exploring Art on MeWe or Facebook. So either way, it's the same art group. I have them on MeWe and on Facebook. Also, Clark Fine Art page on MeWe or Facebook. You can reach me that way. If you want to follow my pages. But yeah, Exploring Art, if you want to join our art group, we'd love to have you over there. All right, I'm just darkening some of these. There's a couple here that were darker. Yeah, right? Just as who remembers when you could DM on YouTube. Yeah, that would be great. That'd be wonderful. Like, I can post to my community tab and people can comment on it, but I want to make sure that we're making it fair for everybody to have a chance at entering. There you go. That's on Facebook and MeWe. That's the art groups. Thank you, Tara. Okay. So needless to say, there's no way we're going to completely get this finished today. We still have this land and these trees to put in. We've made quite a bit of progress. No, you can't. You cannot do that anymore. Direct message somebody on YouTube. And you know, maybe they stopped it because it's unfortunate, and I'm very fortunate that as of yet, I say as of yet because, you know, there's always potential for future well, I want to say ignorance, but you know, whatever, you call it what you will. You know, we're the keyboard warriors that like to sit there and get nasty with people, which is a shame. I think it's just uncalled for. But I'm like losing my way a bit here. There is like a really dark. This tree's gonna have to get much darker. Green pushes up against this. Yeah. Laying in some of this green here because I want that to be some of my lightest value. I actually want it to be down here. Like, I am off with where I'm thinking I'm seeing things because the shoreline is like back here. There's definitely going to be some green in that. There's quite a few, like there's like multiple layers of trees in this space, kind of like we did here. Look at how many layers of trees we got in that area. So what I think we will do, let me just show you guys. This is like, wow. Look at the water. That's why I love, especially with the paint pucks in it. That is why I love this brush wash. Once I put the paint pucks in there, this will get really, really dirty. And this will stay so clean. Like, I can use this. I've painted 3 or 4 days without changing my water, which is wonderful because, you know, I don't have water here up in the studio. It's one of the spare rooms in my house. So yeah, I think we're going to continue this next week because we would be at this. We'd be at this for like quite some time to finish it today. So I think I will pause here. That'll also give me a chance to reevaluate my reference photo in this space to make sure that I have this set up where I want it. But we'll finish our foreground, these trees and our foreground here. I'm sure we can do that in one more stream. We'll have this finished. And I think that's good too, that you realize sometimes you can't sit down and do a watercolor painting in just one go. I mean, we've done quite a few in just one go. And watercolor is a pretty quick medium to paint in. But when you're doing something that's a little bit more in-depth, 3 or 4 hours on a watercolor painting, that's not unreasonable to think. And we're doing this all in real time. So it also lets you, if you want to try to paint along, if you got this month's supplies, grab the reference photo, give it a go, get yourself up to this point, and then we'll finish it next week. So now that I know what I'm doing next week, yay, that takes a huge load off too. That makes things easier. I will probably get a picture of this and put it up, so we will do that. So next week, Thursday, 3 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern time is when we will finish this. So I hope you all come back and join me then. And oh, perfect. Erica said she joined both groups. Same username is here. Okay, perfect. Great. Thanks. I'm so glad to have you over there. And again, anybody who became a member today, huge thank you to Rob for gifting. I'm going to just pop over here. Thumbs up if you enjoyed Rob's gift to everybody today. And huge thank you to all of the patrons and the members, especially our new members. If you got one of the gifted memberships and you use Discord, if you go over to Discord, make sure that it is connected to YouTube. You do that on the Discord side. Again, if you are like, Angela, what the heck are you talking about? Go to the community tab here on the channel. And I have a post that shows you, it'll have the Discord logo and the YouTube logo and like, you know, two stick people like helping each other, bridging the gap, whatever, how you connect. And it just tells you exactly how to connect your Discord to YouTube, because it has to be done on the Discord side. Once you do connect that to YouTube, any channel that you are a member of where they offer Discord as a perk, it will automatically make those servers available to you. I have YouTube fully integrated into my Discord, so it'll automatically pop you in there. We have had some new people come on over and join us, and I'm loving seeing the server growing with new members. If you want behind the scenes access, you need Discord. If you're like, what is even Discord? It's an app you can get on your phone. You just download the Discord app, create yourself an account. It can be the same name you use on YouTube, the same email you use for your YouTube. Kind of makes things a little seamless. And it's an app where we can chat. And you come into the channel, and I have everything. All the general areas are open. We opened that up to superfans and above. So you all have access. There are different things for like the creator, the community tier. They have like a live chat every Friday where they get to go hang out in the room. We all kind of chat. But most of it is open to everybody. Sometimes I just get crazy and I'm like, I'm going to jump on there and turn on the camera in the studio, and whoever pops in says hi, and you definitely are behind the scenes. So if you like behind the scenes stuff, you want Discord, because I am most active there. If you need to message me, you can always reach me on Discord. It blows up my phone like all the time. So yeah, join me on there. Again, all the instructions for how you connect the two are in a post on my community tab. You shouldn't have to scroll, but I think a couple posts to find it. And yeah, huge thank you in the super chat, Rob. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your news. And wow, I'm just like, I'm still just blown away. Like, I'm like, just wow. And as far as the giveaways, I'm going to get with Rob after the stream, and we will look at, because I can pull up my, my chat. So everybody who is here in chat, I have all of this chat logged, and I can still see it on the YouTube side. So if you were in chat today, you will be entered for one of the sets that Rob is giving away. And huge thank you to the moderators, Joseph and Tara. Their channels are listed in the description below. If you're here but you've never heard of Joseph, he live streams on Monday. If live streams are something that you enjoy, I moderate for him over there. Again, same time, 3 p.m. only on Monday. So I hope you'll check that out. Tara has some videos up on YouTube. She's still getting started, but she has some videos. And if you would like to check her channel out, they're both listed in the description. So huge thank you to both of them who are here every week, where our numbers are starting to grow and they're actually getting to do some work. So that's wonderful. Pretty soon I'm going to have to add one more mod if we start really growing. And I already have someone in mind for that. So anyways, thank you for joining me. I hope you will be back next week. As for my, the review of the supplies, I'm loving them. The watercolors, the way that they kind of stay put. I like a watercolor that kind of travels a bit more. But if you're a beginner in watercolor, a watercolor staying where you put it and not taking off across your page, it's probably going to benefit you a lot more than, say, if you dove into Core, or even Daniel Smith. Daniel Smith doesn't travel as much as Core does, but it does move a little bit. I think that these they remind me of like Winsor & Newton and like the Cotman line. The Winsor & Newton Professional don't move that much either. So, but as far as like the quality level, they're they're right there. There are things that I don't prefer about them, but that's just because I like my watercolors that move. But there are things that I definitely love about them. I love that when I put a layer down, like now that this is dry, if I came back next week and wanted to paint over any of this, I would really have to work to lift those colors. I could glaze over this no problem, which if you saw my review on the Rosa Gallery, those, even after sitting for a week, if I wet those, they're going to lift and move like crazy. It makes me think of gouache. Like gouache, but transparency of watercolor. But the way that they reactivate. So that's Rosa, not these. These, I can put them down. They stay put. I can glaze. I like them. I definitely think that these are a beginner-friendly choice for watercolor. They're a wonderful student grade paint. I showed you I'm just going to the desk one more time so that you can see the palette. I've been using them all month. I filled this at the beginning of the month, right after I did the unboxing here on the channel, which was the very beginning of February. I filled these and let them dry. I've been using them from dry. They dry very well. And having used them from the dried pans a month, I thought for sure these little tiny wells, I'm like, I'm going to go through that paint so fast. That's been a month of painting. And you see, there are some colors I use more than others that I've definitely used up a bit more of. However, a month painting almost every day, and there's still plenty of paint in those wells. It's a good paint. I like it. Let me get back over here. So yeah. Oh, Erica said, what palette is that? It is linked in the description below. Erica, this is the 24 well Meeden ceramic palette. This is its lid, and it sets just like that. And you see, like, there is a little bit, they're not perfect. They're ceramic, so, there's some little, whether it be warping or whatever in the drying process of, whatever the ceramic process. I don't know. I definitely don't make them, but I love using them. So yeah, it's 2 pieces, and it's like, I want to say it's less than $16. And if you use code Clark10 at checkout, you're going to get a discount. Definitely worth it. That was one of the add-ons with this month's selection, and that's the reason I love that palette. I love it. In fact, if I get the gouache, or if I got another set of 24 colors that I needed to try and sample, I would buy another one in a heartbeat to put them in versus like metal or whatever. Okay, so there you go. I think that's everything. Next week, when we are live, we will announce the 2 winners, and we'll have everything figured out. I'm going to get with Rob. So Rob, I will be getting with you after the stream to talk about that. But if you're still here, yeah, James said the porcelain and ceramic are near impossible to match up perfectly due to the kiln drying process. Yeah, exactly. But they're wonderful palettes. I have many Meeden ceramic palettes, and I don't have a complaint about a single one of them. So I definitely recommend them. All right. Thanks for joining me. If you're still here watching, I appreciate you. And if you are still here watching on the replay, drop me a comment and let me know that you're ready for next week. So, all right, until next time, I'm going to pop a video up right about there, right about there, that you might like to watch next if you're watching this on the replay. And I will see you in a week when we will finish this. And until then, keep creating, and I'll see you in another video real soon. If you're on the replay, maybe join me. Oh, it's right there in that one. Bye, guys. Have a great rest of your week.